Alright, this video is in response because I had a friend of mine I've known since high school was talking to me about it on Facebook, and I decided I better do a video because he actually recommended to do a video on it, so this way, Tom, you can get more information this way. It's more about my diet, which I don't like that word diet. I think it's a really poor word for it. It's a lifestyle. There's a lot of information here. I'm going to try to keep it short. You can Google all this stuff. I've already done it. I will tell you that when I weigh less today that because of my changes of my lifestyle as far as my eating habits are concerned, and there's various other things that are included with that, but one of the big things is I weigh, as a result of this lifestyle that I changed to the Mediterranean diet. That's the big thing. You can type it in on Google, the Mediterranean diet, all one word. There's a website for it. It is the healthiest diet you can be on. It literally is, like, they call it clean eating because it cleans you from the inside out. Like, it really, it does wonders. In fact, the people that are on this diet lifestyle, they have this, like, they grew up with it over the Mediterranean. They have some of the, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have the longest longevity in the world. They live up well into their 90s because they're on this diet. Well, not because they're on a diet, but because this is what their culture does for them, and as far as their eating habits are concerned. Again, now getting back to it, I weigh less today than I did when I was 9. I weigh 150. I was, when I started this fiasco, 220. That was not my biggest. My biggest was when I was 15 and I was 250. I had a 40-inch waist. I was big. I will say I was a fat ass. There's no way around it. I was not wee by any means. I was a big kid. In fact, if you see my high school yearbook pictures, I was the class fat kid. There's no argument. What I can tell you is I yo-yoed. I did Slim Fast. I did those diets. I did diet pills. The Dexatrim. I've done those. I've done water pills. I've done ridiculous amounts of cardio to the point where it's just I got the weight off when I was 15, 16 years old. I actually decided I had enough of it because I got tortured. I put up with a little backstory here. Up until I lost my weight, I had to tolerate an incredible amount of abuse for being overweight. I was bullied. I was picked on. It wasn't fun to be me. Without going downhill too much, it was sucky. I wore 2X shirts. In fact, our high school, well, in 7th grade, we did a magazine, or no, instead of like selling stuff, we actually sold T-shirts. And I got the biggest one they had, which was a 2X, and it wasn't exactly loose on me. And I was only 14. I was huge. Like, I was a big kid. So, and then I lost the weight, and I gained it all back. And in 2001, the whole Atkins thing started. Dropped a bunch of weight there. And I noticed I could eat whatever I wanted. It was just on this low carb thing. Well, that was nice enough, but that got expensive after a while because nothing but meat I was eating. I ballooned again in 05, 06, 07, 08, 9, and finally 2010. I was working at McDonald's on the overnight, and I went into the bathroom, do what I do. Went to walk out, looked in the mirror at myself, and I had to suck in my gut to get my belt to fasten, and I was in a 38 waist, and I was just snug. Like, it was becoming painful to wear the pants. And I said, I'll just get a 40. No. And the day that Randy and I had to go and buy me a 40 waist cargo pants, I was so disgusted with myself. And he was being good about it, and he was being real supportive, but when you have to buy 2X bowling shirts because of the only thing that fit you, I had to get under control. Well, I actually ran across some information, and I said I'm going to go back to low-carbing it. Instead, I just ate a bunch of salad because I worked at McDonald's. We had salads there, so I was eating salads for lunch. I dropped like 20 pounds in a month. It was nice. Well, that was April of 2010, and I decided what I was going to do. Well, no, 2010, was it? Yeah, April 2010, I decided enough was enough, and I started eating these salads. My goal was to get from 220 down to 180 by Christmas of that year. I didn't do any cardio. I didn't do cardio. I just wanted to get the weight off. I wasn't worried about buffing up. I was just trying to, you know, drop the weight off. Well, by August of that year, that was the big month for me because my weight didn't fluctuate at all. I didn't gain weight. I didn't lose weight. It's like my body plateaued. And all of a sudden, right around my birthday, which is September, I dropped like 6 pounds. It was like, all I could figure was my body was sucking the skin back in or something because my weight didn't fluctuate at all for a whole month. Well, by Thanksgiving, I was, mind you, my goal was to be at 180 by Christmas. I was at 170 by Thanksgiving. I kept going. I got to 160. I was past my goal. I was happy with it. Well, you know it, I did some adjustment because the holidays were there. I allowed myself a couple pounds to gain just because I knew the weight had been coming off. I figured it's the holidays, I can, and I gained 8 pounds back. Wasn't happy with it. And I said, this is just ridiculous. I can't even enjoy the holidays and have, I couldn't even enjoy a slice of cheesecake because I knew I'd gain 2 pounds. I can't eat pasta because I would gain weight. I couldn't figure out why everyone around me could go out to dinner once a month and not pig out, but have a nice meal. They're fine the whole week. I would go up 3 pounds in 2 days. I thought, what is up with it? I know I'm sensitive to salt and sodium, so I have to watch that. I don't have high blood pressure or anything. I just know I bloat quick. Well, I did some digging. I Googled like crazy. I ripped apart the internet, and I had to figure out some stuff. And I remember telling Randy and my mother and them for the longest time, because diabetes is on both sides of my family, and I said, what is the deal here? Why, why is it I know people who, they're rail thin, they're like, their arms are that big around, and they're eating like horses. I'm like, and I made a joke for the longest time. I could look at a piece of cheesecake and just look at it, I'd bloat. Something was wrong. Something was I couldn't figure it out. Well, I started reading about body types, and I realized I'm an endomorph. Believe it or not, but for as high-strung as I am, I actually have a very sluggish metabolism. That's why I don't burn off weight. And they in this thing I was reading on, it was asking me, well, when you're eating carbs, if you have something high carb, high sugar, high starch meal, how do you feel afterwards? I'm like, I guess okay. Well, I started paying attention to it, and lo and you know it, I would feel horrible after. I feel sluggish. It's because my body is not getting the stuff it needs. I'm not giving it what my body wants. I realized after I ate a salad, I would go, 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 go. Well, guess what? I learned no more fast food. Everywhere I would go, I'd have salad. Every chance I would, I'd have salad. Or I'd have broccoli for a snack. Or I would have apples. Or I would have proteins. Or I would have hard-boiled eggs. Or, there's so many things I would eat. And I learned that you try to eat 800 calories. You go to McDonald's and order a number 2. That's like 900 calories. Fries, a Coke, a quarter pounder, or is it Big Mac? I forget which. Anyway, you got this insane calorie count per the meal. I learned real quickly that that wasn't going to be for me, because you try to eat 1,200, what that meal is in the calorie content, try eating that in a salad. You can't eat that much. You're lucky if you get 500 calories, and you're feeling it. So, again, I had to learn all this trick stuff. I had to learn all, and I realized it's not the food that was the problem. It was my mindset. It was my attitude towards food. It was how I looked at food. It was how I negotiated the meal. And I had to do what they call, this country loves to do this thing called, it's like Burger King. What's their motto? Have it your way. Because you know what? Laziness pays off now. Hard work pays off later. And I had to just remember, every time I eat a meal, that's an investment. That is something I'm putting toward. It's like a credit card. You're slowly chipping away at it. But it will show, and you have to keep at it. And you have to also, like the have it your way part, you have to deprogram. It's not just that this lifestyle of the Mediterranean. You have to deprogram what you know. People, I love hearing guys tell me, well, it's Friday night, we're going to the bar, we're having us some brewskis, or I'm going to go out and get myself totally loaded, or I had a stressful week, therefore I'm going to go out and, pickle my liver. And I'm like, you're taking on I guarantee you're ingesting over 2,000 calories that you do not need, and they don't care. And they say, well, I'm entitled to have a drink. I'm like, you're entitled to take care of your body. You don't get a replacement. This is the only model you've got. Take care of it. It's not like a car. You just can't get another one. You just can't go out and finance something and be in debt for 5 years. No, the debt you're carrying is already on you. It's like buying a car and already having like extra parts on you, and you're like, well, I don't need to have 8 tires on the roof. You're right, you don't. Why do you have them? I don't know. I just need well, you will eventually need tires, but you don't need to carry 4 extra tires with you everywhere you go. No, you have a spare. You have 1 spare. It's that attitude. And here's something cool to think about. We have the obesity epidemic. We have the healthcare issues. We have a lot of. It's a vicious cycle because people that are borderline diabetic, they go to the doctor, they get pills to help control their insulin because they're borderline, and the doctor will tell you, get the weight off, we can back the medicine off. Even high blood pressure, drop the weight. You can actually work yourself off all this medication, which is going to save you money, and it's also going to make you healthy. But people don't. They eat, they take the shots of insulin, they whack themselves in the stomach with it, and guess what happens? They think, well, I ate a whole bag of M&Ms. I can have 2 whams of it. I'm fine. Let's go out to Wendy's. They do this. People do it. And they don't like hearing me tell them that, but that's just a reality of it. When I worked at McDonald's, people do. They come in, they check their blood sugar and realize it's within reason. Oh, I want a milkshake, a large fry, and can I get 2 cherry pies? And I'm not making fun or being disrespectful, but they start to look like it. And when, it's ridiculous. Well, I have no room to talk because I ate a lot too. That's how I got as big as I did. And I wasn't eating what my body wants. So I tell people this before I get into the diet. It's because the lifestyle itself once you see it, it makes sense. But I'm trying to give you some education here that when you're going in to do this diet, you don't do it overnight. Don't crash diet on it. Wean it in. Incorporate a salad for dinner. Incorporate 2 salads. Start 1 salad, if you can, 3 times a week. After a couple weeks, up at the 4 salads a week. Up at the 5. Start to incorporate it. People are like, well, I don't like diet soda. I'm like, okay, mix your regular soda with half of the diet. Do a half and half deal. Train your taste buds to change over. This is not that hard. Before you eat dinner, have a glass of water. What's it gonna hurt? My sinuses. When you go through all that, you have to train yourself. It's not just I'm hungry. Because I tell people, if you're gonna have potato chips, you're allowed to have some. Put them in a bowl. 1 handful in a bowl. Go sit down and eat them. Don't take the bag with you because when you're watching TV, you don't know. You can't remember how many times your hand went in that bag. You can't remember it. You won't be able to. And if you want an idea, start logging, writing down everything you put in your mouth. And I'm serious. Everything. Every glass of water, every piece of candy, every piece of sugar-free gum, everything that goes in here, write it down. You will be shocked in a week how much food you've eaten. You may, I don't eat that much. Of course we want to tell ourselves that. But you'd be amazed how much food we pack in. And we show it. Now with this obesity epidemic and the healthcare and everything. Now as far as your body's concerned, imagine this. Let me ask you this question. Think about I'm going to give you an idea here. And Tom, get a load of this one. I weigh 150, 153 pounds, depending on, what I have eaten. Because minus the weight of the food, I'm like 150, 152. Well, here's the thing. I'm medium framed. I'm not a large framed guy. I'm not small framed. I'm medium framed, okay? I was 220 pounds. I was becoming a big person. Now, I was carrying 80 pounds every step I took. Every time I took a step up, my knees felt it, this is eventually going to hurt you. Those of you that weigh a lot, that I'm talking 20 pounds overweight, 50 pounds, 80, 100, 150 pounds overweight. Let me ask you something. I drive a Honda. It's a 4-cylinder Accord. It's a nice trim level. It's leather seats and all that, all the bells and whistles, but it still is a 4-cylinder Honda. Gets great gas mileage. Would you ever expect my car to pull a fully loaded Suburban, 2 Suburbans for that matter, around everywhere it went? Like, would you? Could you see? No, it's not meant to tow. You're right. It's not meant to tow. It's a low economy car. It's not really meant to, you know, you would never expect the little Honda Civic, which is the next size down, to pull that. You would think it would pull something like a jet ski. That's about as much as that engine's got, right? Okay. Would you expect a Ford Explorer to pull 3 Suburbans, fully loaded, packed full? No, maybe 1. Okay. A semi can pull a trailer, and on a turnpike they can pull 2 and 3 trailers depending on where they're at. They're built to do that, right? They're meant to pull. They have the engine to do it. Where do you get the off and get the idea in your head that could you ever now really think about this. This is a big deal here. Could you ever see my Honda pulling a rig up a hill? You're like, no, you blow the head gaskets, you tear that transmission apart. That you would burn the tires off. It wouldn't be able to do it. Now, mind you, I'm a 150 pound guy. I'm 5'11". Your heart is the size of your fist, roughly. It's right here where it's been since I was born. Hasn't moved. That's your engine. That's moving everything around. Your heart's the size of your fist. Those of you that are 250, 300 pounds, you're expecting a Honda, a 4-cylinder, to pull 2 fully loaded Suburbans around everywhere it goes. And where you're like, well, mechanically speaking, you're gonna kill the engine. Exactly. Where do you get off thinking you can do that? You never expected to pull a semi. That would never happen. Guess what? Those of you that are that overweight and people that are in wheelchairs and, you know, they're on them scooters, that's what you're doing. Your heart, when people are like, oh, you know, I weigh 350, I'm twice the weight I should be. You're expecting your body to pull all that weight, and it's dead weight. It's not working with you. It's working against you. And this country's famous for it. I mean, you go around the world, we are fat. I mean, we have, and people get insulted by it. No, seriously, I look at it this way. If you really, truly want to get your life together, you got to focus on this. You got to work on this. I'm not saying be self-centered. I'm saying get your act together. Get your head out of your butt. Here's a strong shot of honesty. If you're overweight, you are not doing yourself any favors. I had to learn this. And my body type, we'll get onto that now, is endomorph. There's a lot of endomorphs. Look it up. Endomorphs, you have mesomorphs, and ectomorphs. Ectomorphs are the rail people who can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. They never gain weight. They're also known as hard gainers because they're the ones in the gym that can work out for 2 years and they might pack on 10 pounds of muscle. Their body burns up so fast there's no reserve to work on. A mesomorph, you people are perfect. You can eat, gain a little bit of weight, lose it. You can gain a little weight, go in the gym, work out, pack on muscle, lose muscle, pack fat on, lose fat. You guys, your bodies are perfect. Endomorphs, not so much. We have to work. However, we have a benefit. We will pack on a lot of muscle if we want to. We can bulk up fast, but you also can fat up fast. So you look around, you look on the internet, just Google endomorphs and whatnot, and mesomorphs or ectomorphs, wiki it if you need to. You will learn so much that way. There's a lot of information up there on it. But I strongly urge people, make changes in your life. Start with you. Start by changing your diet. Start the lifestyle. Look at the Mediterranean. It's a really, I don't tell people low carb because then I get flack. I'm like, fine. I don't low carb. Now, let me clear up something here. People say, well, you know, I'm like, I tell them protein, chicken, turkey. You want a little bit of beef, have some. If you want some starch, eat a healthy starch. There's plenty out there. Carrots. If you're really good with your diet, fine. We'll just keep with diets. Everybody keeps up with me here. If you're doing the diet and you're doing, say for example, you lose your weight, you have it manageable within a couple pounds. Fluctuation is not a horrible thing. In fact, it's nothing to go up 5 pounds in one day. That's just normal. However, if you're at your goal or getting there and you're learning how your body's responding to the food you're taking, you can have a baked potato. You can have it, but think that potato, the starch in it, think of it this way. If you have it on a Monday, or say Sunday dinner you have it, keep your carbs down. Keep the starches, not carbs, but starches down for 2 or 3 days. It balances out. You won't even notice it. You need some starch. You need some fat. You need some protein. You have to find out what your body responds to. As far as the fat's concerned, with nuts, people are like, well, the nuts are fattening. They are fattening, but they're the healthy fat. You look on the label, and you'll say, I think Jif peanut butter. I think, Tom, I gave you the same one. It says, for argument's sake, just bear with me. It says 16 grams of fat or 14 grams of fat. You look down saturated fat, whatever that is. They have trans, but they won't show the other fat. But, well, that's just pure fat. No, it's not pure fat. It's a healthy fat. It's not the bad fat, because the rest is poly and mono. If you look those up, your body needs poly. And I'm not saying eat it by the bucket, but you can definitely have that because your heart needs that kind of fat. That's how it gets its omega-3 fatty acids. You get all that stuff out of it. There's so much on. Now, it might seem like, well, that's a lot to remember. You're right. But once you learn it, once you get it in your head programmed, you'll go to reach for a Snickers and go, no, not Snickers. Don't get Snickers. Get something else. Get a thing of nuts hanging up. Get some sunflower seeds. As long as you drink a bottle of water, you can have the salt. It ain't gonna hurt anything. Your body needs some salt. I'm not saying get a salt block, but you need some. If you're sweating a lot, you're gonna lose your electrolytes, which is salt's one of them. You're gonna burn some magnesium off. But look at your stuff. I had. I'm trying to think here. I'm losing my train of thought here because I'm going here at great length there for like 22 minutes. Salmon, fish, go for it. Salads, all as much green as you can get, as green as you want to go for it. Use a light dressing, obviously. Think a little bit. When you go out to eat, like if you go to a breakfast bar, what can you have? Have eggs, fruit. If you want to link that to a sausage, go for it. If you want to have a grapefruit with some sugar on it, a little bit is okay. 1 tablespoon, that's not gonna hurt anything. It's only 4 grams of carbs. It's not gonna hurt anything. You want whole wheat bread? Make sure there is no, I don't care what brand it is, no high fructose corn syrup in it. Make sure it is 100% stone ground. I make my own bread, which basically is the crushed red wheat, a pinch of salt, some yeast, and some water. That's all that's in it. And people that eat it are like, that's really dense. I'm like, yeah, it's not light. It's and it sits your stomach and takes up space, and you're not hungry. If you want a superfood, speaking of hungry, fill you up, broccoli. You can't eat enough broccoli. You can stuff yourself for 3. You're still not going to be able to get enough in you. Salads, romaine lettuce. Now here's a cool thing with iceberg lettuce. It's healthy, but guess what iceberg is? Iceberg lettuce. It's kind of funny they call it iceberg because water. It's 95% water. It's basically crunchy water. So look at that. You start making a point of turn the label over. Turn it over. It's there. Read it. Like me, people's like, well, don't you ever get in the mood to have something sweet to eat? I'm like, well, yeah, my birthday or the holidays. I allow myself, I know, to gain 2 pounds, 3 pounds. If I know it's going to be, how it works. Once you get your body trained, not your body doesn't need training. This needs training because we're told you can have it your way. You can have it your way. Because, again, laziness pays off now. Hard work pays off later. Start investing. Start making a point to get this stuff together. A Mediterranean diet, it really does work. My aunt, who's a PA, she will tell you it's the healthiest diet to be on. It really is. Like, I have more energy now than I ever did. And I don't, right now, being this is the end of February, I will tell you one of my little secrets is this stuff. And you can get it at GNC. It's liquid vitamin D3. It's a dropper. I get this because I suffer from SAD syndrome because the sun's not here and I kind of get all depressed and mopey. So I will actually get a sunlight out, which I don't have it at the moment since I moved. It's still buried. But I'll use this 2 or 3 times a day. It keeps me perked up because my body's deficient on it apparently. But really look into it. don't Google it. You can Google this whole diet. You can learn so much about what your body can have. Like, people are like, well, I guess you can't have pasta. A little bit. If you have a little bit, not every day, but a little bit. You want a candy bar? I'll have part of one. French fries? I'll have a couple. You can have a little bit, but you don't need to go out and have the bucket of fries from Sheetz, McDonald's, or wherever it is that you go, because you think, I'm hungry. You don't need that many. No one needs that many carbs. And the salt. You don't need it. If you want to, what I generally do is if somebody orders fries, I'll have a couple. I usually get 5, one for each finger. That's it, and I'm done. I cook with olive oil. You can deep fry with olive oil. It is really good for chicken tenders and stuff. I get a light breading with some. You can get and for those of you speaking of proteins, you want a really good recipe? Get plain Greek yogurt. Plain. Put a little bit of Splenda in it, and take Jello sugar-free, fat-free, sugar-free. They have the cheesecake mix. Mix that in with it. I think it's a cup to a container of Jello stuff. I think it's 1 cup of yogurt. When you thicken that up and put together and sprinkle some bread or graham cracker crumbs on it, you can have a little bit. Oh, people have eaten and they eat it and like, that's really thick, like cheesecake. Once you eat it, it just sits in your stomach because it is so much protein. There is like, I think it's 19 grams of protein per cup. I think. I might be wrong. But there's a lot of protein in it. And you can eat and eat and eat. And you'll get, oh, I can't eat anymore. My friends have done that. They're like, this is ridiculous. And another little trick, if you want a neat little topping for it, I love to eat it like this. Get the light Ready Whip. Spray it in a bowl. Dump some Splenda in it, probably I'd say about 1/3 of a cup of Splenda, whip it up, and all of a sudden, it just breaks down all of a sudden, gets like this gooey marshmallow kind of texture, sprinkle some graham crackers in it, try eating it, it's really good. I found it out by accident, and I put it on top of my cheesecake, oh, it's good. It's really good. But no, just exercise it. Go out and try new things. Now, if you really do want to incorporate your exercise, which, I'm all about exercise and whatnot, if you really want a good workout without, say you don't have time to put in an hour workout, go to Walmart or Amazon online somewhere. They're sweatsuits. They were like 14, 18 bucks. It looks like blue hefty bags with Gumby straps kind of thing. And I own a 40-pound weighted vest. Yeah, I do. I have them. I put that on when I do my cardio. It really works. And the thing is, when you're sweating out all them toxins and you're slowly converting your body over to like a green running machine. If you want to go out and not all at once, just slowly learn what your body wants. Go out and buy yourself a juicer. I did, and juice. Not every day, because it will go right through you. A word of caution with that. Juice. Now they tell you should juice in the morning. Don't juice 3 times a day. It's too many vitamins. It's too potent for your system. The trick to it is if you want to shred a salad, have that. You can do that. But it's cool is when you get up and do like I have like orange juice from the juicer, you can do pomegranate, not pomegranate. What is it? Do apple slices, orange juice, oranges, romaine, lettuce. What else do I do? You can do several different things with it. You can do peppers and all. You can do whatever, carrots. But because you're getting such a super concentrate, it's a lot of vitamins, and your body will love it. But don't go crazy because you can. That way, you're going to give yourself too much. But if you're really out of shape and your body's not used to getting what it needs to eat instead of fried food, deep fried whatnot, and pizza and burgers and all this high calorie food, you will see a difference if you try. Just start changing over a bit. Try things differently and experiment. And people are like, well, I don't want to just have a salad. You can incorporate other things with it. It's just a matter of how you look at it. If you want to use it with the glass half full, great. If you want to get half empty, that's where you gotta learn. Again, it's not from here down to worry about. This is what needs work in here. You got to get your mindset. You got to change it. You got to work on it. And I think I covered everything. I was doing really good. I didn't even look at this note once until just now. But try nuts, unsalted if you can do it, or get salted or light salted. Wean your body off of it. I don't drink regular pop soda. I won't drink it. In fact, I had my first half can of Sierra Mist since in probably a good 10-12 years, and I just don't drink it. I do a lot of what do I bought a soda stream to make my own soda. I've done that with the diet. Just look around. You stop buying the default stuff that you go in, because people are going, oh, I'll just go in and grab something quick at Walmart or wherever, and I'll just go home. Stop and look what you're buying. Turn that label over and educate. I'm not saying research every ingredient, but get to know what you're putting in your body. Get to know what's going in, because that's fueling all this. And someone told me, oh, I gotta eat. Well, and I'll leave you with this little story. When I worked at McDonald's, parents came in with these kids. And they're all wound up. They're at McDonald's. They want to get, a Happy Meal and their toy, and, it's a mindset. They're coming here to get something to eat with a toy and Ronald and all that stuff, Well, the parents got the kids a double cheeseburger meal each with a toy. They went and sat down. These kids got Coke to drink. I watched them do it. High salt fries, double cheeseburger, their toy. They're happy, right? These kids are now getting a high caffeinated drink with sugar. And in 15 minutes, it's driving the parents crazy. They're getting so sick. Like, you know what? We're going to take stuff home and just go. Your kid's getting too wound up. The kid is 5. You're supercharged this kid's system with caffeine, sugar. You're giving him a high-fat diet. You're giving him a high-fat meal, I should say. A lot of sodium. This is not the food he should be eating. But makes the kid happy. Well, you're putting all these chemicals, sugar and caffeine, into a body that doesn't even weigh 60 pounds. And it's just, and the kids are wound up as it is. Now you're adding, it's like you're adding insult to injury. What do you expect the kid to do? The kid doesn't understand what's going on. He's just really fired up, and this car is going on. Really. So, and I will tell you that in San Diego, they're illegal. A video. What? I'll cut it out. What do you need?
Nothing, don't worry about it.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. So anyway, in San Diego, Happy Meals are illegal. They can't sell them because the obesity epidemic is that bad. So you can't buy a Happy Meal in San Diego. But now they've changed over to doing apple dippers. Of course, with caramel. Really. And they did away with the fruit and walnut salads, which actually were healthy. Because they even had yogurt, which was giving you protein and calcium. What people ask me, well, you had to get tired of eating salads at some point. Well, yeah, you want variety. I would have a fruit and walnut salad. I wouldn't eat all the grapes because the grapes were more starchy than I wanted, so I just add apple slices and the walnuts and the yogurt, and I get a milk to go with it. And really, you gotta think. And the people, we want what we want when we want it, how we want it. That's what we're trained to do. That's how our culture is. You go to other countries and people look at us like we're nuts, like you're spoiled. Yeah, we are. This is why we have the problem we do. And other countries are starving to death. And here we are. I mean, I think Ethiopia, one of them, actually said that they don't know what indigestion even feels like because they've never eaten enough to get into, they get heartburn. They don't know what that feels like. So that just gives you an idea. But as far as the diet, as far as learning all this stuff and getting into what you're, learning it, Google it, look it up. There's apps you can put on your phone, like Calorie Counter. I'm sure there's a carb counter thing you can do. Heck, they even have an app to help you with your menstrual cycles. I mean, I'm sure there's a carb one on there, everything else they do. Educate yourself, learn about it, figure out what your body responds to. You might be surprised that your body doesn't need all the starch, doesn't need all the sugar, it doesn't need all the white bread. It just needs wholesome food that's actually good for you, and not just because it tastes good. Yeah, that's the gist of it. The rest is up to you. And once you start doing it, then you actually will. And like my mom got on the diet herself, she went down a chunk of weight. I think she lost 90 pounds, 85, 90 pounds. Uh, and all she told me was after you stop eating chocolate, stop eating the sugar, stop eating all the starches, the white breads, pastas, and start really focusing on what your body responds to. She said she felt different. She don't, and me, I don't. I have irritable bowel syndrome. I do not get it anymore. I do not get sick like I used to. I don't get headaches the way I used to. I don't. It's amazing. It's like my body finally is where it wants to be at. I've lost the weight. Again, I went from a size 40. I'm down to a 29, 30, depending on what brand I'm in. I can actually buy clothes that look good on me. Uh, Again, I do the cardio thing when I want something to do. But yeah, you gotta educate yourself. Google it, Google it, Tom, you gotta Google this stuff. Look it up, figure it out. So, but there is a commercial break apparently walking through the room. So, is that thingy? Oh, okay. So anyway, oh, you're done. So anyway, Tom, any more questions? Text me, Facebook me, whatever. Everybody else, seriously, like look it up. You'll thank me for it because I'm taking all the guesswork out for you. It's not the. I will admit it was hard. It's like driving a standard pickup truck, a stick shift. Hardest part is getting started. Once you get going, it's fine. But you gotta educate yourself. You gotta change your mindset. You gotta deprogram what you know and reprogram new things that your body responds to. Exercise isn't gonna hurt anything, and you should see a major difference. That's how it works. So anyway, okay, guys, be good. I'm gonna like go do something, like maybe eat dinner myself, actually. So in the meantime, be good. I'll be around. Keep rocking. Toodles. See ya.